Greetings everyone, welcome to Just Advance. And this game is from the FIDE Team Championship. With the white pieces, we have Nodirbek Abusatoro. With the black pieces, we have Arjun and Nodirbek. This is going to be one epic match. So without further ado, let's start with this game. Nodirbek starts with knight to f3, goes for the ready opening. We have d5, c4 and e6, going for the neo-Catalan defense. And we have g3, knight to f6, but just bishop to g2. And here Arjun decides to take space in the center. He goes for the very nice d4, but here just castles, and here we have c5, just defending that pawn. But over advanced pawn could be the way to reach for victory, or could be the way to reach for a direct loss, because it's very difficult to defend them. And here just d3, and here knight to c6, but just e3, challenging those central pawns. And here we have bishop to e7, but here just e captures. We have c captures, and here just rook to e1, but now just comes h6 and not allowing that bishop to jump in. And we have knight to e5, but just knight captures, rook captures, castles. And here we have b3, maybe just trying to develop the bishop this way, but it's going to be highly unlikely because our bishop is never going to be active, and you don't want to do that. So maybe just going for bishop to a3. And here we have bishop to d6, but just rook to e1. That bishop was attacked. We have e5 just rendering that center, and we have bishop to a3 asking for a trade, rook to e8, and just bishop captures on d6. Queen captures, goes for this knight to d2, but trying to jump on that e4 square, but here just bishop to g4, attacking the queen, queen to c2, queen to d7, and just c5, just immediately pushing those pawns and maybe just trying to create a pass pawn. And here we have rook a to c8. We have b4, trying just going exactly as planned, bishop to h3 by Arjun, and we have bishop back to h1 by Nodirbek, and we have knight to g4, knight to e4. And in this position, Arjun goes for b6, and here just rook a c1, but just b captures, and now it's a pass pawn, and also this is coming, so you have to be very much careful. But now comes rook to c7, and here we have knight to d6, but here just rook to f8, and here we have queen to c4, just trying to put tremendous pressure on that pawn, and also just pushing this. And Arjun had the initiative with all these pawns. He was supposed to get the rooks into the game, try and attack, but he missed his opportunity. And now it's Nodirbek who's on the attack, and it's going to be very much difficult to defend because hit 5, but now just pushing that pawn to c6, queen moves, and just bishop to f3. And in this position, you have to be very much careful. I mean, with all those, with that pass pawn, it's going to be very much difficult to hold this position. But then again, you have to be very much careful. In this position, we have queen to f6, but now comes this knight to b5, and now that rook is being attacked. And what are you going to do about it? Because even if you push it back, then you have to understand that pawn gets pushed, and you're going to get the knight to there, and it's just a horrible position to have. But still, even in horrible positions, you have a way. You do get a chance to defend the game properly, and if Arjun gets a chance in the end game, he should take it. Here we have rook c to c8, but now comes this c7, and here we have e4, just attacking the bishop, knight to d6, attacking the rook, and just knight to e5. Now this will come with a very nice fork, so you should be careful about that. And, another bit goes for bishop back to h1, but here the best move was actually bishop to h5, and it's very difficult to understand this because here after queen to g5 attacking the bishop, you go for this very nice bishop to e2. And here just look at this, how much pieces are hanging here. Rook is hanging here also. This is also an idea. This is also an idea. This is also an idea. But in this position, f4 is the best move. And here after queen captures on e4, you play f captures on g3. And here after h captures, you play queen to f6. Now there's a lot of pressure on that f2 pawn, and you're going to have to be very much careful. Also, this is also an idea. So, I mean, everything is almost hanging. But here after f4, just pushing the knight back. You don't push the knight back, you just capture here. And here after queen captures on e5, now don't trade queens, but just play queen to a6. And it's just impossible. Even with the best defense, it's just impossible to stop fighting this position just because of that pass pawn and just the positional advantage, and it's going to be very much difficult. But here after knight to d6, we have knight to e5, and bishop to h1. So let's see what this does, because here we have knight captures on d3, just going for a fork but in a different way. And you're going to lose your rook as well. So Arjun lost his rook, and here just rook caps on c1, rook caps on c1, rook caps on c8, and here just push queen to d7, attacking that rook, queen to a6 defending. And obviously not that, queen to a6 defending, and we have queen captures on d4. And in this position, you're going to have to be very much very much careful. The move is already on the board, and the move that has to be played for a defensive resource that he has is queen to d3. Idea being, once queen to c3 comes, you don't trade, you play queen to e2, queen to c2, play queen to d3, and queen captures, e captures. And you have to understand this push is coming, so you're gonna have to move. And after that captures, after rook captures, you'll get this position, which is going to be a dead draw. So I think that was the way to go about this. But here after queen captures on d4, king to h7 was played by Arjun, and this just doesn't work. We have bishop to g2, bishop captures, king captures, and now queen to d3, but now it doesn't work. But instead of this queen to d3, there was a very amazing resource. I'm going to ask you to pause the video and try and find out this resource in this position, which not only gives Gukesh a fighting chance, but maybe he'll be able to draw this game after all. So yeah, have at it. So congratulations to everyone who's able to find this move, and the move is e3. and this is very very difficult to do anything about, because if you go captures, then this comes with a check, king moves, and I just capture this, your only advantage. And now you have to understand the pawns are going to be leveled and you just lost your advantage, and it's going to be very much difficult. However, if you go this captures, same idea applies. And if you go queen to d5, just trying to go for this captures, then here just e2. And after queen caps on f5, because that also comes with an attack on the rook, but queen is currently defending it, and king to h8, but now just queen to d5. Again, keeping an eye on everything, but we have queen to b6, and now that pawn is going to be captured. Queen to e4, we have rook caps on c7, queen to e1. You don't want to go for trade, because after trades it's going to be a draw, so there's no point in it, because queen will capture here, and most likely with equal pawn structure, you have to understand with this 3 to 2 with the queens on the board and the kings being open, it's most likely going to be a draw. So it might be 3 to 2, might white must be a, might be a pawn up, but it's not going to matter that much. But here queen to d3 was tried, none of that was played on the board, but now this comes queen to e5. Now you understand that this is coming, your rook is hanging, and it's going to be very much difficult. Here queen to d7 was tried, but it doesn't work, because now h4. And now you have to understand that here after king to g6, you have this rook to c5, and you can understand that this is going to be hanging. You also are defending that, and h5 is coming, king will move, and I'll just capture it, and I'll be a pawn up. So here just king to f7 was played, but now just comes queen to f4. And here after king to g6, h5 check, and here just king moves, but now just comes rook caps on f5. And once the king moves, we have rook to c5, again defending everything, but just queen to e6. And here just rook to e5, but now just comes queen to d7. We have queen to e4 check, and now you've lost everything, because there's a pawn up, and you're gonna have to move the king. But also worst of it all, it's just gonna be very much bad, because now just king to f7, queen to c4 check, and here just king to f8 was played, but now just rook to e3, and we have rook caps on c7, just grabbing that pawn. But now just comes rook to f3 check, king to e7, and queen to f7 check. And it's going to be very much difficult now, because now king to d8 was played, but here, and queen to g8. But now you can understand that if the queen blocks, then the rook jumps in. If you move up, then rook jumps in, and you're just going to lose your queen and the game. So first in this move, on just move 40-52, that Arjun and Nodirbek resigned the game, and Nodirbek got this spectacular victory in the FIDE Teams Championship. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll be coming back with games like these, so stay tuned to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be seeing you guys very very soon. Thank you all.